Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Alex Avila with Love University, and we're back. I'm an author, psychologist, and speaker. Every week, we talk about how to love ourselves, others, and a higher nature, how to improve our finances, career, health, relationships, and spirituality. And last week, we started a series called Your Ultimate Questions Answered, Make Your Life a Miracle. And today, we're going to continue in part 2 of that series, answering our reader question. And by answering these reader questions, we can learn how to make our life a miracle. Jonathan, my producer, go ahead and read us the first question.
I'm unhappy. I think I'll be happy in the future and that things will change. But then time passes and I am as unhappy as ever before. What is the problem?
Well, Jonathan, that's an interesting question. And that kind of segues to your question from last week, which I think you were talking about, should I be happy now and just be content with what I have or keep striving for my goals? Last time you asked me that question, Jonathan, what was on your mind last week?
So I feel like I'm always trying to better myself. And I know that I should be content in my current position, but I am always trying to level up, as they say.
Well, Jonathan and listeners, the problem is that you deceive yourself into thinking that the mere passage of time can make you happy. It won't. In fact, this is a terrible state to live in because you're always thinking that the future will somehow save you. As a result, you rob yourself of the priceless present moment because you're hoping that you will somehow be happier and more fulfilled in the future. Let's say that you have suffered pain in the past. You think that time will help ease the pain. Although that may be true in some situations, in most cases, time alone doesn't heal wounds. To regain your happiness, your mind must see things differently. You need to forgive yourself when you have regret. See the positive in the negative, and resolve to do something different the next time. In other words, act from your invincible mind. By using your mind properly, you can leave a painful experience behind you almost immediately, with few lingering emotional wounds. You can focus on the lesson you learned from the mistake, and you can resolve to act from a higher perspective the next time. Time is not the deciding factor in recapturing your joy, but your invincible mind is. The invincible mind is that part of your mind that is incapable of being defeated, that can surpass any limitations. So if you want to change your future, change who you are now into a person with the invincible mind. When you have an invincible mindset, you will be happy today and tomorrow.
The next reader question is, why do so many unfavorable results come my way?
First of all, you set an unconscious cause into motion, thereby making an unfavorable result an inevitable occurrence. The cause is usually a self-defeating thought, a gloomy idea that you are not good enough to get what you want. This downward thought then attracts more of its own bad nature, such as damaging people and harmful circumstances. Let's say you're feeling lonely. To escape from your unhappy state, you go out and get involved with the first person who reacts favorably to you. Unfortunately, they may turn out to be an abusive or negative individual. Consequently, your need for emotional relief has prompted you to let your guard down and get involved with a person who is all wrong for you. Secondly, when something does go wrong, you torment yourself with the question, why did this happen? Instead, you should be asking, how can I diminish my self-defeating mind, the part of your mind that is destructive and attacks you, so it doesn't happen again? The reality is that many people waste a lot of energy in life trying to fulfill the imaginary pictures of their self-defeating mind. I need to be rich. I need to be loved. The good news is that once you shed the imaginary pictures of yourself that come from the self-defeating mind, you will be far more efficient, successful, and happy. Contrary to what you may presently believe, you don't have dozens of problems which cause dozens of unfavorable results. You have one problem, your self-defeating mind, which sets into motion all the unfortunate events and circumstances in your life, including bad relationships, poor decision-making, addictions, and bad habits. Things are different when you live from a unified self, your invincible mind. When your mind is centered on growth and inner power, you will rise above unfavorable circumstances, setbacks, and problems. You will become invincible with a capital I.
The next question is about handling frustration. The question goes, why can't I solve my problems no matter what I do? I am always frustrated.
When you don't know what to do with a problem, withdraw your attention from it. You will see that anxiety, hopelessness, and suffering doesn't come with a problem. They come from inside you, from your own self-defeating mind. Your mind is actually the cause of the problem.
But what can I do about that?
Realize that you can never escape from the problem because you, as a person with the problem, are the problem. Many people mistake an escape for an answer. When they're bored or restless, they anxiously search for some external relief. such as a new love affair, social involvement, financial expenditure, or lifestyle change. That only suspends their nervousness for a short time. They falsely assume that the solution resides outside of themselves. The truth is that your self-defeating mind is the problem. When your self-defeating mind is reduced, your problem will go away as well. The solution is to dissolve your self-defeating mind by increasing your invincible mind. You can do this by building a reservoir of invincibility, that part of your inner nature that has confidence, courage, peace, love, and harmony. You can also center yourself in your hara, your gut instinct and center of intuition. And you can actualize your don, your God or nature-given ability. When you do these things, there will be no need for you to fight against problems anymore, because the you self-defeating mind that was fighting them no longer exists. When the self-defeating mind ceases to exist, so do your problems.
Can you give me a simple phrase to remember this?
Yes, think of it this way. There is no other problem than being what you are, and there is no other solution than in being what you can become.
How about this, Dr. Avila? How do we eradicate loneliness? How does loneliness work if I feel lonely much of the time?
When you feel lonely, you're compelled to do useless and foolish things that you would never do if you were not in this state that you call loneliness. You get involved with the wrong kind of people and situations to distract yourself. Maybe the wrong relationships, wrong friendships. Problem is that when you come home from the party, person, or distracting activity, loneliness is always there waiting for you.
How do I banish loneliness?
Well, Jonathan, this is an important question because our society, a lot of people are feeling lonely, and loneliness has been linked to depression, other illnesses, physical illnesses, heart disease, and things like that. Tell me about yourself and your experience of it.
I've mostly felt loneliness, say, during COVID. I feel like a lot of people have. I feel like some people have it's like essentially PTSD, but apply that to loneliness. So post-traumatic loneliness disorder.
I like that. That's an interesting phrase of words. Now, the issue here, Jonathan and listeners, is that loneliness exists only when you're separated from your true nature, your invincible mind. The separation urges you to strive towards self-unity. Well, the problem is that you strive after the wrong things, such as distracting people and superficially exciting experiences. You mistakenly think these temporary distractions will cure your loneliness, but they won't. The only way to cure your loneliness is to unify with your true nature, your invincible mind, the essence of you. So you need to find the practices and activities that nurture and fill you with love and gratitude. Whether it's the arts, time in nature with animals or children, physical activity, humanitarian works, creative projects, or a spiritual practice. Loneliness is cured not by filling your life with extraneous people and activities, but by healing yourself from the inside out. Find your true invincible self, and you will lose loneliness.
Why can't I be consistently happy? Sometimes I have joyful moments when I acquire something such as a material possession, a new friend, or career success. But then I fall back into gloom and despair.
The answer is that you can't be happy with something. You can only be happy, period. When your happiness has an external source, whether it's a person, goal, or circumstance, it is only a temporary flirtation, an illusion that ultimately wears off. Think of the sun. It is self-sufficient and shines on everyone. The poor, the rich, the beautiful, the not so beautiful, the young, and the old. If people don't like the sun and cover up, the sun doesn't get upset or disappointed. It simply keeps shining. In the same way, you can be like the sun and maintain your happy and positive disposition, no matter what is going on around you. You can keep shining your positive energy and light on the world without worrying about whether you will be liked or receive a benefit. In this way, you are above the world's problems. You are a star in your own mental galaxy and nothing can hurt you. Be like the sun, and you will never have to worry about whether you're happy or not. You will just shine everywhere.
I love someone who doesn't love me back. It's terribly painful. What do I do?
Yes, it is, and many people in the world have this issue. The key is to recognize that the other person represents a need in you, such as security, affection, and companionship, which you mistakenly assume is a reality in them. Your fantasy thoughts of the person, not the actual qualities they possess, are what creates your craving for the person. So, Jonathan, as I'm talking about this, I see you reacted in a certain way. What do you think about this concept?
So I feel like pretty much you projecting an image onto someone. It can be a friend, a new coworker that you haven't met, potential relationship partner, or even something like a job opportunity. I remember this one time I applied at a job, they pretty much told me that I barely got the job, and they're like, "Yeah, why should we hire you instead of the other person in the lobby?" And I barely got the job apparently, but essentially it was a sales job, and they're like, "Oh, you're going to be doing marketing and sales," and it just ended up selling phones in the mall. Like, yeah.
Okay, so basically, they were not who you thought they were. So you thought the person that hired you was authentic and wanted your best interest, but in reality, it looked like they didn't.
Yeah, I guess sometimes people aren't what they seem.
Jonathan, the reality is that human beings project the qualities they think the other person has. In other words, they imagine they have something they may not have. Maybe we think they're more loving than they really are, or more patient, and then we find out they're not. And the key is, as you raise your level along the invincible mind path, you will see the idealized person in a different light. You realize that your needs are internal. Regardless of whether they want you or not, the other person can't supply what you need to make you happy, because what you need comes from inside you, not from inside them. When you understand this, your craving for them will fall away, and you will realize that they have nothing to offer your inner self. Now you will extend your energy outward in a different direction, eventually attracting a person who resonates with your nature and with whom you can build a true invincible you partnership. In this noble alliance, your mutual goal is to help each other elevate to the highest state of mental and spiritual development as you create a lasting relationship of love and goodness.
So this is a pretty big question that I think everyone wants to know the answer to. How can I be happy?
Well, instead of trying to be happy, the key is to understand the causes of unhappiness. Stop thinking you must change your conditions before you change yourself. Change yourself first, and you will naturally change your conditions.
But I get so frustrated when I don't see immediate results. What can I do?
You need to stop despairing over what you can't do in the present moment. Wholeheartedly do whatever you can do right now. Work on fine-tuning your don, your natural ability. Center yourself in your hara, your center point of knowledge and power. Substitute one invisible thought, for example, peace, for one self-defeating thought, anger. Always keep in mind that right results come from right efforts. They don't come from wrong efforts or no efforts at all. Strive to take one step toward your invincible mind development each day, and soon you will find that you are on the right way to truth and excellence.
But my life seems so complicated. I have to do so many things to keep it going. How can I change this?
Stop anxiously fighting all of the complications in your life. Simplify your efforts. If you try to do 10 things in one day, you will probably not do any of them very well. Work on doing one thing correctly each day, and you will feel an immediate sense of relief. For example, act despite your fear. Spend time meditating on greatness. Center yourself in your hara. Take one step toward actualizing your don, your greatest talent. Whatever you do, make sure it's important to you and that you complete it. Doing so will give you a strong sense of satisfaction and confidence.
Why is it that people I want in my life don't feel the same way about me?
Stop trying to win social popularity. Instead, focus on self-acceptance. It's true that you must love yourself first before you can truthfully love others and before they can love you. Accepting yourself is the powerful elixir that releases you from the need to be liked by others. When you no longer worry about whether you are liked by others, you will paradoxically be liked by many. Your previously intense and desperate desire to be liked and approved of is the very thing that pushed people away from you in the first place. Reverse your focus to self-acceptance, and you will have all the acceptance from others that you desire.
I search vainly, but can't find the answers to my life's problems. What can I do?
Instead of fighting for answers, be quietly receptive to your invincible nature. Your invincible self knows all of the answers. You don't have to do anything, just be still and receive the higher messages. The frantic chasing and searching for the right way to live is the very thing that keeps you from finding the correct path. It's like the fish who is frantically searching for water and doesn't realize it is already in the water. The water is all around it. Once it relaxes and sees the true situation, everything becomes clear. At this point, you will recognize the truth. You don't need to search for answers anymore because you are the answers, all of which originate from your invincible mind. You can stop searching now. You have arrived at your final destination, love, success, and happiness. So, love university students, today we've covered a lot of ground. We talked about the true nature of happiness, Also, how to deal with frustration, loneliness, and also love and the absence of love. And the key to many of the things we're talking about is to develop what we call our invincible mind. The part of our mind that is self-enhancing, compassionate, loving, and confident. It wants the best for us. The invincible mind is the opposite of the self-defeating mind. It's the part of our mind that is negative, critical, self-attacking. So the more of the invincible mind you have, the less of the self-defeating mind you will have. And instead of looking outside for solutions to your problems, for relationships, for success, you will look inwardly to your invincible mind and develop it even further so you can bring more joy, happiness, and success to your life and the lives of others. Love University students, if you want to comment on today's show, if you have a show idea, if you want to be on a future show, you can reach us at 310-226-8090. Write to us at loveuniversitylove@gmail.com. Visit us at loveuniversity.love. You can download the podcast on SoundCloud, Podbean, iTunes, and Spotify. You can also follow us and like us on Facebook and Instagram at Love Letter U Podcast, and also follow us on Twitter at Love Letter U Podcast. Until next time, so Dr. Alex Avila, put away your notebooks, your iPads, your phones. Go out this week and live an invincible life and a miracle life. Until next time, this is Dr. Alex Avila. Class is now dismissed.